Good morning and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, and today we're welcoming on the CEO of the Essex County Community Foundation. Thanks for joining us today.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
So would you mind just introducing yourself and then a little bit about the organization as a whole?
Yeah, terrific. And thanks for having me, Dani. And I love to support Lynn TV and Community Access TV. It's such an important part of our community. And it's great for us at the Community Foundation to be able to support it. But my name is Stratton Lloyd. I'm the CEO of the Essex County Community Foundation. And the Essex County Community Foundation, or also known as ECCF, is a nonprofit organization focused on building community across the 34 towns and cities of Essex County. And what's interesting about us is that we are regionally oriented and we're focused on this specific place. So it's not necessarily issue specific, but it's place specific.
Right. And I have to ask, you just became CEO in July, so you're brand new to this role. How's that been going?
It's been a lot of fun, and I've been with the Community Foundation for over 6 years, so I feel very fortunate that I know the community really well, I know the organization really well, and we have just a tremendous team and a tremendous opportunity to do so much more in the community. And so literally every day, I am more excited about this role.
And one of the things you were even talking about before we came on is really encouraging collaboration between all the different organizations and groups that you work with. Can you explain that?
Yeah, well, so again, because we're a community foundation across a region, the 34 towns and cities, so that's everywhere from obviously Lynn and Salem and Peabody, but all the way up to Merrimack Valley with Lawrence, Haverhill, Methuen, and then the whole coastline of Newburyport and Cape Ann. So we're a very diverse county with towns and cities and rural and urban and all sorts of socioeconomic distinctions across the region. And so we also don't have any county government in our region. So there's no one really thinking regionally, how can we work together to solve the biggest issues in our region? And to be honest, the biggest issues that we're facing right now as a country, as a state, and as a region require collaboration. And so we've really stepped into the role of saying, how can we be a neutral entity to inspire collaboration to tackle the biggest issues that the community is facing and what the community wants us to work on? We listen to the community very carefully.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Seeing what you can learn from them and then doing it, because nobody knows it better than the people that live there.
Absolutely. And so, a big example of that is coming out of COVID. And or in COVID and coming out of COVID. And we got together about 100 community leaders across the county, mayors, CEOs, nonprofit leaders, community leaders across the region. And we asked a simple question. We said, how has this changed, the social sector, the nonprofit sector forever? And what do we need to be aware of as a community? And the number one issue that came back, which actually was a little surprising to us, was that the digital divide is everywhere.
Really?
Digital equity is something that is super important. Mm-hmm. And so digital divide, particularly during COVID, was impacting everybody, but it's always been there. It's always been an issue. And it impacts elderly, it impacts unemployment, it impacts education, impacts small businesses. And so we did a study with Tufts, gathered a bunch of data, identified a bunch of the different root causes and challenges around digital divide in our region, and then designed a 4-year, nearly $4 million commitment to breaking down some of the barriers of the digital divide and digital equity across the region, providing free access, free devices, and then also digital literacy training for residents across the county who can most benefit from it. And we've done a lot of that right here in Lynn, which has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, like you said, you do digital equity, economic workforce development. You're in so many different areas teaching people about it. And I have to ask, how do you balance between all of that? Because it's a big county and there's many things that you focus on.
Yeah, no, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of opportunity, for folks here in our region to make sure that this is the best place for all of us to live, work, and play. And really for all of our community to benefit from that. And so we're constantly in conversation with the community, asking those questions, what are the big issues? And so issues such as workforce development opportunities, to earn a living wage, for example, is a really big issue. Small business resiliency, how can we let our small businesses grow and thrive? And arts and culture and the creative economy, really building a sense of belonging and a sense of community across our region. Those are just some of the areas that we've really focused on. And we don't do the work. You know, we work with the nonprofits, we work with the community that's doing the work, that's already doing the good work, that we can help accelerate and amplify. But we can become a backbone organization to convene folks, to design a strategy, and then to work to implement that, to solve that. So the question is, how do we do it? Well, we work with a lot of really, really good partners. We work with hundreds and hundreds of partners. We work super closely with municipalities. Mayor Nicholson has been a tremendous partner of ours in a variety of different areas, even back to, very early in some of our small business work, where I actually worked with him before he was mayor to help launch a small business loan fund for businesses here in Lynn. So there's a Lynn Small Business Loan Fund run by Mill Cities Community Investments right here in Lynn, and with the North Shore Latino Business Association as an example, to identify non-bankable businesses that can benefit from it. So we can play that backbone entity of working together and getting the organizations that are doing the work to help them really amplify and accelerate that work.
And you mentioned, Lynn, specifically, there's several organizations that you've worked with, Beyond Walls, Lynn Music Foundation. Can you talk more about the work you've done here in the city?
That's awesome. So we've done a lot of work, again, in each of these different areas, whether it's small business, like I just talked about, workforce development, arts and culture, digital equity, vaccination work during COVID. We work with all of the organizations here in Lynn, and we are super inclusive, and we love to have partner and help to lift up the really tremendous leaders and entrepreneurs that you have here leading these organizations right here. We love to lift them up and give them opportunities. In arts and culture specifically, it's an area that we've launched a 10-year, $5 million commitment to build a creative economy ecosystem across the entire county. And we've done tremendous work across all towns and cities, but really focused on our 6 major cities, being Lynn, Salem, Beverly, Peabody, Methuen, Haverhill, and Lawrence as an example. But really here in Lynn, we've worked super close with the Lynn Museum, the Lynn Music Foundation, Raw Arts, Beyond Walls, all of the great arts and culture organizations right here to really help ensure that they can meet their mission, and then also to create opportunities for folks to work together and to break down some of those boundaries. And we actually fund collaboration because we want people to work together. A lot of times philanthropy and funding funds organizations independently, and then organizations work independently. So we're trying to flip that model and say, well, what if we fund you to work together? How would you do it differently? How would you think about things differently? And organizations love to collaborate, but they need to get paid to do it. So we try to give them the opportunity to do that.
And that's actually a great segue to, you mentioned you're going to be doing an art segment, summit later in September. Can you explain a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, so again, we have this 10-year commitment to building an ecosystem. We've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of nonprofits, municipalities working together, doing this work all over the county, a lot of it here in Lynn. And so every 2 years we get together across all of those partners, and it's really a community celebration of the arts and culture ecosystem. And it's going to be September 27th at the Beverly Cabot Theater at 9 o'clock, and you can go to www.eccf.org and you can sign up and register for it. But it's a sort of a 6-hour event with local artists and dancers and singers and musicians, as well as experts in arts and culture across the region, talking about some of the collaborative work that's happening and talking about some of the opportunities across the state for arts and culture organizations to benefit from. Oh, wow. And so it's really a fun summit. It's really inspirational, and it really encapsulates that spirit of collaboration. And you just see it, you feel it, it's visceral, it's really fun to be at. So we really would love for everyone to come and participate, take a look at it, sign up, and come to it. We'd love to have you there.
Mm-hmm. And you're also going to be hitting 25 years this year as well.
So this is our 25th anniversary, which is really exciting. And for a community foundation, that's still pretty young. We've really, a lot of our growth has really come in the last 10 years as far as being more relevant to the community. But we've been around for 25 years. And so we want to stop and take a moment to appreciate and recognize that. And so we're going to be having a 25th anniversary, which we'd love for all of our partners and friends to come and join us on that event also. also, and that's going to be November 13th. And again, on our website, www.eccf.org, you can take a look at that and sign up and come to our 25th anniversary. It's really going to be a celebration of all of the great work that's happened over 25 years. And then most importantly, looking forward, asking ourselves, who do we want to be in the next 25 years? And what else can we be doing as a community, working together and building a greater sense of belonging and connectedness across our region so that we can all thrive?
You said you definitely have a lot to celebrate, and I do have to wrap up in a moment, but was there anything that I hadn't mentioned that you wanted to touch upon?
Yeah, I'll just say that as a community foundation, first of all, a lot of folks don't know who we are, so we'd love the opportunity to share that and build awareness because we are a critical philanthropic entity for a region, particularly a region without a county government and looking for opportunities to collaborate. And so we do a lot of this collaboration work that I talked about. But a second thing that we do, which is equally as important, is that we also manage charitable funds and we manage philanthropic funds. So if someone is thinking about being philanthropic, maybe creating a scholarship, maybe creating a giving fund or a donor advised fund, maybe you're a nonprofit leader and you have an endowment or a reserve and you're looking for who can manage and be the fiduciary for that fund, the Community Foundation is your resource for that. And so we definitely ask you to call us up. If there's any way that we can help you think strategically about your philanthropy, at whatever size of philanthropy you're thinking, we ask you to reach out and talk to us. We manage over 330 charitable funds like that right now, and that's an important thing that we do for the community, and then we can connect them to the causes they care about and the collaboration that we're trying to do. So they're definitely very complementary, managing the funds and then also doing this great community work that we love to do.
Great. Listen, you definitely collaborate with so many great organizations and do so much good work yourself, and I want to thank you for coming on to share some of that with the community. Well,
we love Lynn. We love the community. I love personally working here and working with the great folks of Lynn, and any way that the Community Foundation can continue to be a resource for the community, that's our customer. That's our mission. So we love doing it. So thanks for having us on here, and we're happy to support you all too, and you are such an important element and entity in our community also.
Right. Well, thank you for that as well. And thank you again for joining us on the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, and we'll see you next week with more guests.